Hi, I'm Graham, welcome to Man v Film. This is another Netflix video for the top 10 movies that you can watch in May 2015.
Man versus Film.
Number 10 on my list is Tucker and Dale vs Evil. Now, it's very hard to combine comedy and horror together, but this movie does it, and it does it successfully. Now, Tucker and Dale vs Evil is about two lovable hillbillies who decide to take a weekend away up to their cabin in the woods, a little fixer-upper, and drink some beer, go fishing, generally have a good time. On the way up there, they bump into a bunch of preppy kids who take one look at Tucker and Dale and decide that they're inbred, chainsaw-wielding mass murderers, and that's where the comedy ensues. Tucker and Dale have no idea why these kids are acting so funny, and the kids keep killing themselves in the most ridiculous and accidental fashions possible. It's a great movie, it's really funny, and it's really enjoyable. It's a quick watch. It's been on Netflix for ages. It's probably going to be on for a while longer, but you should definitely check it out if you get the chance. If you're into horror at all, you're going to love this because it really subverts the tropes of that genre. Number 9 is David Towey's A Perfect Getaway. Now, this is a movie that was made for Netflix. It's not something that you would really go to the cinema to see, or something that you would sit and watch repeatedly on Blu-ray, but it's a really enjoyable, tight thriller. It's about two couples that meet up in Hawaii and decide to go together just trekking through certain areas. As it turns out, they hear stories about a murderer that's on the loose, and it turns out that one of the couples could be the murderer, and it plays on that kind of aesthetic all the way through the movie, and you never quite know what's going to happen, but it's a really tight thriller. It's really exciting, and you really don't know what's going to happen right up till the end. Number 8 is The Devil's Rejects. It's the sequel to House of a Thousand Corpses. Now, you don't have to have seen the first one to see the second one. In fact, I would suggest that you don't watch the first one. It is a terrible movie. But Rob Zombie really upped his game and came forth in prominent with The Devil's Rejects, which is a really gritty 70s throwback horror movie about the Firefly clan and their escape from the law. But the law is almost as bad as what they are, and was willing to do anything to get their hands on them. Definitely a must watch if you're a horror fan. Number 7 for me is Draft Day, a movie that I saw earlier in the year. It came out last year. I had zero expectations for it. It's about a day in the life of a general manager of a football club as he wheels and deals as it's coming up to the draft. Now, you don't have to know anything about football, because I don't. You don't have to know anything about the draft, because I don't. But it's just a really fun, enjoyable wheeling and dealing. It's 24 hours in the life of one character as he has personal problems and business problems, and it's really just a tight movie. It's really fun and really enjoyable and just draws you right in. Number 6 on my list is one of my favourite movies of last year, and that is Frances Ha. Now, Frances Ha is about a woman, a New York woman who doesn't really have an apartment. She apprentices for a dance company, though she's not really a dancer, and throws herself headlong into her dreams even as they begin to dwindle. This is a movie about a person trying to find themselves in their late 30s when all their friends have kind of moved on to certain things. My number 5 movie on the Netflix watch list is Hard Boiled, a movie starring Chow Yun-fat, directed by John Woo, and it is a glorious action movie, absolutely fantastic, filled to the brim with amazing action set pieces, and it's something you should check out if you're into Asian cinema whatsoever. If you love action movies, you're going to love this. The main character, Inspector, well, his name's Tequila, that puts it, and at one point he saves a baby and he's on fire, and the baby puts the fire out by peeing on him. It is ridiculous, it is over the top, and it's full of kick-ass action that has to be seen to be believed. Number 4 is one of my favourite movies. It's called Identity, stars John Cusack and a host of other people, and basically what it's about is a group of 10 people are stranded at a motel, blocked off from all society in this massive storm, and it turns out that one of them is a serial killer. Now, this movie has quite a few twists and turns, and it's really enjoyable. I've watched it a few times, and every time I just love it. It's a very genre piece of film, and it's definitely worth a watch on Netflix, and if you can figure out the twists, good on you. Number 3 is a movie I saw last year as well, and it's Prince Avalanche. It's about two highway road workers in the summer of 1988 who are stranded alone doing these work day to day, camping out in the woods, and it stars Paul Rudd and Emile Hirsch, and it's pretty much, that's the only cast of the movie. There's a couple other people coming out of it, and it's just about their mundanity, how they cope with things, how the two guys find themselves at odds with one another and the women that they've left behind. It's a hard movie to describe, and it's one that I wasn't too sure that I was going to like, but the more it went on, the more I just fell in love with it. It's a fantastic piece of filmmaking. Number 2 on my list is the amazing Jackie Brown. Now, Jackie Brown is Quentin Tarantino's follow-up to Pulp Fiction. It was sort of panned by the critics as not being as unique as Pulp Fiction, but it is by far one of his better movies, and it's one of his lesser seen movies. Now, it stars Pam Grier as the lead character, Jackie Brown, and she gets involved with this dealer, Ordell Robbie, and the police capture her, and she's stuck between the FBI and Ordell. She ends up hooking up with this bail bondsman, Max, played by Robert Forster, and they tried to concoct a plan to try and get Jackie Brown safe from all this, out of all this this harmony that she's in. And it's a really good movie with some excellent set pieces, some fantastic dialogue, and it's really worth checking out. Now, number one movie for me this month, and this is one that I thought long and hard about, and it's a movie that I really enjoyed last year, and it caught me out as a complete surprise. I seen the trailers and I thought, that doesn't look anything special, but I wanted to put it to number one to highlight how much you should watch this. You know, you're going to stick it on, you're going to think you're not going to enjoy it, but you will love it, and that movie is Chef. Chef stars Jon Favreau and is directed by him as well, and this is follow-up to his big action set piece movies that he's been doing over the past few years, and it's a more personal film, and it's a far better movie than some of these big action blockbusters. It's about a promising chef who is sacked from his high-paying restaurant job and decides to open a food truck and tour around America. He tries to find himself on the road, reconnects with his son, and it has all these tropes that you've probably heard of before. But it's so much fun, this movie. Do not watch this movie hungry as well, because the food looks amazing. But it's a really light-hearted comedic tale with a bit of a heartwarming centre as well, and it's worth watching. I've watched it a couple of times now, and each time I think it's absolutely fantastic. And it's a movie you'd probably bypass quite easily, which is why it makes it my number one of this month, so check it out. Now, if you like this video and you want to see more of my content, if you like it, or subscribe to my content, there'll be an annotation bottom up around about here. You can get it in the box below, and there'll be one on my YouTube page as well. If you subscribe, you'll get the first to get my content when it becomes available. And I will see you next time in Man v Film.